Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josie and today's video is going to be most of what I made in 2025. My 2025 was a bit of a slow year for knitting just due to some wrist issues I had starting in the spring. But I'm still very proud of everything that I made. So I might get a little out of breath throughout the video. I had the flu bug that's been going around just a few weeks ago, and I seem to still have some of the side effects of it, I guess. But without further ado, let's get into the video. I forgot one of the first projects that I made. So it was the Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague, and I made it in one strand of, I think it's a We Are Knitters mohair that I had in my stash, and one strand of a BFL fingering from Big Little Yarn Co. It's like a blue hat. I'll make sure to put a picture on the screen here of it, or like a little video of me trying it on. Last winter I wore this hat a lot. It's a little bit big, but I think I just don't understand how to measure my gauge for that pattern or something. They always turn out just a little bit too big for me. Or I'm knitting the wrong size, who knows. But that one was my first finished object of the year. The rest will be mostly in order, but I might get a little off at the end of the year just because I did a bunch of gift knits and I was able to start knitting again in the fall. So that's when a lot of my knitting and finished objects picked back up. While I was having issues with my wrists, I had this project going, which is the Seaway Pullover by Ozetta. I love this sweater. So I knit the size 3 in the pattern, I think. 3 or 4. And I knit this in one strand of Drops Lima in the color Petrol. And I had very little yarn left when I finished this sweater. I counted skeins correctly or something, because I think I had just one little partial skein left. But this one is very well loved. As you can see, it's pretty pilly. I don't have a D-pillar yet. I have one coming in the mail. I've been knitting for over a decade and I'm just getting a D-pillar. I think I finally care about taking care of my clothes. So this is a drop shoulder construction with just like a 1x1 rib cuff, and it's got the soft cables in it. I don't know, it's just a really comfy, soft pattern, and I could rave about Ozetta patterns all day. Every single one that I've knit so far, it has been comfy and it just fits well, and I really like the neckline. So I would call this still like a crew neck, but it's a nice chunky crew neck. That one I didn't finish until like late summer, I want to say, and I wear it all the time. Then in the fall, I made these socks, which is a sock pattern out of the Sock Project book by Summer Lee. It's just her basic toe-up socks, and I did this in Rockin' Bobbin Fiber Co. Leaf Litter set, which was a limited fall sock set. And unfortunately, when I made these, the foot was a little loose and they were just a little big all around. Oh, I think I used a bigger needle than I was supposed to when I knit these up. So I actually ended up putting these in the dryer for a short amount of time, and that cinched them up, and now they fit perfect. but I love these. I wear these all the time. They're nice and cozy and warm. They're good house socks. I love them anyway. This one originally was going to be for myself, but I ended up gifting it to my husband for Christmas. This was just like a self-drafted hat pattern, and I did it in Rock and Bobbin Fiber Co. activated charcoal. This was knit, I want to say this was a DK weight. It was like the natural DK weight yarn, and I don't remember what needle size I used for this hat, but it's nice and stretchy, and I needed like a sample knit for this colorway, so this is what I made. And he has worn it quite a few days since I've given it to him, and he loves it. And then I actually crocheted a dish towel set for my sister out of 100% cotton. I think it was like Eddie Bauer yarn that I got at Joann's before they closed. I will say I'm not a huge fan of knitting or crocheting with cotton, so that was not my favorite project, but that was gifted and she seemed to like them and she liked the color. It was just a free crochet pattern I found on a blog. I believe it was called the Farmhouse Dish Towel Set, and I only made like the dishcloth and the dish towel. I didn't make the one that you can add a button to so you loop it over your like a handle or something. I didn't make that third one, but I did make the other two and she seemed to really like them. And then I made the Wanaka Pullover by Andy's Knits. So this one is knit out of Lavender Fiber Co. City of Emeralds, I think in her classic DK weight yarn. I believe I knit the size 5 in this pattern. Maybe it was size 4. I didn't write down very much about the things I made in 2025. So in 2026, I hope I get a lot better at that. But yeah, I believe this was in the size 4 or 5 of the pattern. And quite frankly, this is the best sweater I have ever knit. It's comfy. It's the right shape. It's another drop shoulder construction. I think I really like drop shoulders. I really like the buttons. So these were these funky cat buttons. Yeah, I just love this sweater. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I'll probably be making another one at some point. I might even end up making one for my husband. I don't know. But this pattern is wonderful, easy to follow, super comfy. It's a nice boxy fit. It doesn't have too wide of a sleeve cuff. It's just wonderful. Then I made this hat, which is actually currently in testing. So I self-drafted this and I really liked it as a basic hat. It's got a rolled cuff and just like basic decreases. It fits really nice. So I knit this one up on US size 6 needles, which is, I believe, 4.5 millimeters. I might have that wrong. On a worsted weight yarn. This colorway is Here Comes Santa Claus by Rock and Bobbin Fiber Co. As you can see, a lot of my knits from this year are my yarn from Rock and Bobbin Fiber Co. I just needed to do some sample knits and whatnot for the site. But I made this size, which is my size, the adult medium, and then I've done a toddler hat in the candlelight colorway, which I think is a really fun speckled color. I really enjoy how both of these turned out. This was before I kind of edited the numbers for the pattern, so this one didn't turn out quite right, but this one was good. It fits really nice. I love it. Nothing but good things to say. And then I made 2 pairs of the sailor slippers. One pair was for my husband and one pair was for my dad. So the first pair of sailor slippers I made was for my husband, and I knit his. I wanted just like solid slippers for him. I didn't think he would like the stripes very much. So for his, I used like one of the bigger sizes because he has quite large feet. And then I used the recommended needle size. But I didn't use the recommended yarn. I used 2 strands of Istex Plotalope. I don't remember the color name, but if I find it, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. And I'll try to put all the information in the description. But I used 2 strands of Istex Plotalope in this like, it's almost like a mossy green color. And I use that for the heel, foot, and sole of the sailor slipper. And then I used 2 strands of, or maybe it was 3 strands of Istex Let Lopi in the black colorway for the I-cord edging. And then his turned out pretty good for his foot size. Something felt just a little bit off, so when I made the second pair for my dad, I went down 1 size in the pattern, but I used, for the foot, like the top foot and heel, I used 1 strand of the green Plotalope and 1 strand of the Letlope to make it kind of marled. And then I think I did the 2 strands of the Plotalope where it was just green on the sole. And then I think I did the black I-cord again, where it was like multiple strands of the Letlope for the I-cord. And his were a little big on him, but he said they were fine. And he didn't want me to felt them more. I kind of wanted to felt them more so they would fit him better, but neither one of them have mentioned anything about being too slippery on the bottom, but I have heard that that's a problem. So maybe I'll make a pair for myself in 2026 and get back to you on how slippery they are. But my dad's slippers were the last thing I finished in 2025, and I had many whips going into 2026. So I have a feeling the beginning of the year might have quite a few finished objects just because I am interested in finishing those whips. All in all, even though I had the wrist pain in 2025, I think I had a pretty successful year. I got to dye a lot of yarn, start my business, and I did get a few finished objects that I really love wearing. In the beginning of December, my mom, sister, and I went to this lady's farm where she has sheep, her own little yarn shop, and she processes all her sheep's wool there herself. And she dyes all the stuff that she has in her shop, and it's just really neat. So I'm gonna include the footage from that at the end of this video. So stick around if you're interested in seeing that. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.